So quick. These lives go so fast. Okay, I want to pop on and do an exercise because I think I mentioned it before. It's getting super hard. It takes me a long time to get content on here now because my content's so long. So I wanted to pop on quick and talk about why we see more in the dream state first and an exercise we can start to do to see the difference of wake and sleep. So when we're in our human day, we're in a different brainwave state. We walk around in a beta brainwave state. We don't have the same brainwave state we have when we are asleep. So our third eye is closed. Okay? So when you close your eyes, you're allowing that third eye to open. So if we all do an exercise where we close our eyes and we really just feel our energy field and see if you can kind of feel that third eye opening. Try to imagine that third eye opening, but it's going to be easier if you close your eyes to feel it in the beginning. That's why when you're sleeping, your third eye is open more. It might not be open all the way even when you're sleeping. It has the capacity to, but it's not going to have the capacity to. Hey, Tammy. Nice of you to join me. I'm looking forward to talking to you this week. This is a good one to do with the girls too. Have them tap on their eye a little bit, pull out their unicorn horn, and see if they can feel that eye opening. For the girls, their eye is going to be open anyway, more so than as adults. The kids are going to have them open earlier. So that's why I say you connect easier in your dream state, okay, in the beginning, because your third eye is not open in your daily routine. You can, when your eyes are open, the third eye is going to be closed in the beginning. So that's why we don't feel the connection. We can't see as much. We can't grasp as much. You will get to a point where your third eye will be open. Might not be open all the way. I still feel like there's some days mine is not open all the way when my eyes are closed. But it will be open more when your eyes are open. And that's when you can start to feel things pop in your field. Like you walk by a house plant and you feel like I need to water the plant. You walk by a baby and something pops into your mind when you walk by a baby. I used to walk by, I had a neighbor who would call me when their baby was screaming. He was super little at the time. She's like, he won't stop screaming. And I remember I went over there and I kept seeing this bottle, picture of a baby bottle. And I was like, did you change his nipple on his baby bottle? And she's like, yes, I gave him a slow drip nipple. And I was like, well, he doesn't like it. You need to give him the other nipple back. Now, we don't give in to the demands of terrorists, and sometimes babies can be little terrorists, and children too sometimes. You get where I'm going with that. You can do it or not do it, but that's kind of the messages they're sending. You walk by an animal and you get something. People kind of dismiss this stuff, but you're reading the field around you. You go into a room and you feel like it doesn't feel right. It feels cluttered. It feels like the energy's stuck here. When I look in this room, what doesn't fit? What can I move? You know, maybe the furniture's blocking something. Maybe it needs some plants. It needs some crystals. What doesn't work in here? Open up to feel it. And if you can't see it when your eyes are open, go and close your eyes. You will feel and see so much more when your eyes are closed. Keep the eyes closed, okay? And if you have to sit in a room with your eyes closed for hours to see if you can peg in on what you're trying to get to, whether it be something in the space or something going on with you, do it. That's what's going to help the connection inside. It's kind of like when you start to monitor your thoughts and you start to feel, wow, how do I feel what am I thinking? We're all in the beginning, from our human perspective, we're always going to be thinking from our human lower consciousness, okay? We don't have higher consciousness thoughts. We just don't. We're always going to have lower consciousness thoughts in the beginning from our human perspective. That's just what we have, okay? So we want to be really conscious of, well, who's talking? You know, what monologue is playing in my head? What thoughts am I having? That goes back into when we're in our human consciousness, we don't know the difference. We can't feel the difference. We can't see the difference as to what's going on. We don't feel or say anything really. We just kind of go to this, place where we're okay with not feeling and seeing because we never really felt and saw in this human existence, so we don't know what that feels like. So when you close your eyes and you disconnect, listen to your thoughts. Who's speaking to you? Is it the lower aspects of you? Is it the higher aspects of you? What is it saying? If it's judgment, if it's greed, if it's obligation, if it's manipulation, if it's something you need to do, I'm going to use the word need there. I don't like that word, but I'm going to use it. If it's something you need to do, or you feel very impressed to do, why do you want to do it? Is it for humanity? Is it for you? Look at who it's from. Look at the story you have, why you have to do it. Those are the things you really kind of want to focus on. Who is talking? Why am I thinking this way? Your thoughts are what's going to create the reality. And when we're not conscious, we're creating realities. We don't even know what we're doing. So technically, we're not responsible for what we created as humans because we didn't know what we were doing. Once we know what we are doing, then we really have to be conscious of what we're putting out into the world. What part of us is thinking here? What part of us is really, honing in? Consciousness means we're conscious of ourselves. It's nobody else, it's us. And if we're not conscious of ourselves, and we know the difference, and that's kind of the rub there. If we know the difference and we're choosing not to be conscious, then that is what we really want to look at. We really want to look at why. Why do we want to hold on to these old stories? Why are we going to want to hold on to these old beliefs? That's why sometimes sitting with your eyes closed for large parts of the day helps you connect more inside. I will still close my eyes to look at something. I don't have to close them as much, and when I'm awake, I'm pretty plugged in now. My eye is open all the time, but I still feel like sometimes it'll kind of blink a little. I would feel mine kind of get tingly. I'll feel mine kind of tingling, kind of pulse and stuff like that. But in the beginning, when I was asleep, is the only time I could connect in. I couldn't connect. I had too much human programming. I got too bogged down on all the human stuff to connect during the day. That's why everyone wants a sign. Everybody wants to know there's something else out there, that there's something else they can't see. And they look for that. But you can't look for it. You have to feel for it. It's not about looking. It's not your two eyes. Eyes are not the windows to the soul. Okay? You can't see anything with these babies. They just register the illusion you're putting in front of you. Now, technically, every reality is an illusion. Even heaven-based, soul-aligned realities are still illusions. They're just prettier illusions than our human ones, but they're still illusions. So, don't look at what your eyes are showing you. How do you feel about it? This goes back into what frequency are we tuning into? I talk a lot about, I used to tilt my head a lot when people would talk. I tilt my head a lot. And I was like, I wonder why I'm tilting my head. I didn't even understand what I was doing. Because I'm tuning into a frequency. When I used to do energy readings years ago, I would tilt my head. And I was honing in on something. I was trying to get the frequency of what I was trying to comprehend, because at that point it was still coming outside in. I was kind of reading the field from that sense. It wasn't all coming inside out. My field wasn't as expansive. So it was coming in a different way for me. But I was tilt my head. So if you're talking to a person and you start tilting your head, you're trying to hone in on a frequency, maybe not the words they're saying. You're honing in on a frequency that's not what their words are saying, but the tone of their words is giving off something else. Those are the little things we do, not consciously in the beginning, but our body is trying to do something. Your natural state is your soul state. That is the most natural state. It doesn't go with our human state. That's why I talk a lot about trying to take all these soul concepts, soul embodiment, higher consciousness stuff. You talk about crystals, you talk about Andaras, you talk about all these things that are supposed to bring enlightenment, or bring consciousness. And we try to stuff them into this human box about how it would enhance a human life. And it's not about a human life. A soul-aligned life does not look like a human life. It looks nothing like a human life. And it won't, because your human life is built on human values of what you valued as a human. Your soul-aligned life is going to be what your soul values. And those are not the same thing, because our value system is kind of all screwed up. It's kind of like when we used to look at, I don't know what these pictures were called, but they were the pictures where pictures within pictures, and you look at them, and there was one about an old lady and a young lady, and you look at it, and I don't remember the first one you saw. I think it was you'd see the old lady first, and then the more you looked at it, you would see there was a younger lady in the picture. It's kind of the same thing, but you had to stare at it for a long time to get there. You had to keep staring at it, right? It wasn't something that all of a sudden you you just saw. You had to look at it for a while to see it, because you're looking at it from a different place. If you stare at anything long enough, what happens, even if you stare at a wall long enough, it's going to disconnect you a little bit from the outside world too, and you're going to be able to really hone in on what you're looking at. And sometimes with our realities, we have to do that. We have to look at them for a long time. We have to pull them apart. We have to dissect them to see what else is underneath there. It's not just the first thing we see. That's what our human wants to see. What else is there? We have to peel it back. We have to be willing to go into all of this stuff and really own what's ours. We have to be willing to go deeper and deeper in and really be open to it. Feel with your senses. And when you close your eyes, you have to feel with your senses. That's why so many people go through eye stuff when they're going through certain parts of their ascension journey. They go through so much stuff with their eyes because your body's trying to take your eyes offline. Whether you have a retina detaching, I used to have eye infections all the time, and I had, what it would be an eye infection, or my eye would be scratched, because there are crystals in our eyes that start to pop off, and every time mine would pop off, would scratch my eye. I would get scratches on my eyes, and I couldn't wear contacts, so I couldn't see. And I didn't have my glasses updated, so I couldn't see. I remember one time I went like 2 months, I couldn't get my glasses updated because they wouldn't want to do the eyeglass test until, my eyes were better, so I couldn't get my glasses updated. It was just my universe contrived to where for 2 months I couldn't see anything at all. Nothing. I could see nothing at all. So I remember luckily my vision was totally terrible. I mean, I could kind of make it around, but it was hysterical to not be able to really see. But that makes you connect inside. Use your other senses. So if you're going through what we will call eye upgrades, you could have a lot of stuff going on with your eyes because your eyes are trying to upgrade. The crystals pop off in your eyes, and all of a sudden mayhem starts ensuing with your eyes. But it is part of the process. I don't know anyone yet that's gone through it and has had some kind of eye stuff going on. Some stuff more severe than other stuff, depending on how hard you're holding on to the outside illusion through your eyes. You could have a much more extreme eye stuff going on. But if you're willing to let go of that illusion, getting that third eye open, closing your eyes, and just trying to picture how open is that eye? Is that eye completely shut? I never feel like it can be completely shut. Some people say it can calcify over. I never feel like it's completely shut. I feel like you always have some kind of connection. Even if it is a teeny tiny bit open during the day, you registered enough to be tilting your head when someone's talking. You registered enough to say, oh God, I knew better. I should have known better. I knew it. That didn't feel right. So to me, it's always going to be a slither open, but we want that sucker all the way open. And at night, it has the capability to open up so much more. That's why you have so much sight. That's why in the beginning, people sleep a lot, because it's opening up that eye. So just be aware how open it is. And if you can just feel when it's shutting during the day, if you have your eyes open and you're around certain people and you feel like it's shutting, you've got too much in your field. A lot of people in your field, if everyone's at a different frequency, which everyone normally is, that eye's going to feel like it's going to come, start to squeeze and close a little bit. Be aware of it. Have fun with it. Even though I know a lot of the stuff I talk about is not the best parts of awakening, because so much gets rearranged, and you have to really be open to that. You have to be open to going through the realities you don't really want to do, which I was in one now that I didn't want to do. I saw it coming for a while, but I didn't want to do it. And it came to the point where it was like, this is the time to go do it. And every other door I wanted to go through was kind of closed. And it's like, you got to go do this one, because this is the one I have to work through the most programming here to go on to my next one. And I couldn't really bypass it. And I wanted to go through it as quickly as possible. So you kind of immerse yourself in some realities to clear stuff out. Whereas if I was in my human reality, yes, would I clear some of this stuff out going through my human existence, where you're still going to be upticking in your frequency, just not as fast? I might have done something like this over a 20-year period, or maybe a 10-year period. I'm going to have to condense that and do it quicker. It goes into the quantum jumping we talk about, how you kind of can jump 2 years and you have to do it in maybe 9 months. Because we have the capacity to not fall through all the loops that humans will. I won't get stuck in the loops of doing the same thing over and over again. I'm not procrastinating what needs to be done. I know there's a lot of stuff I need to do in this reality. I get up every day and I get whatever I can get done, and move on to the next thing. Procrastinating and dragging these realities out to where this could have been a 5-year reality, and maybe I'll turn it into a 9-month reality, because we see what needs to be done and we go on and we do it, and that's it. You know, we don't procrastinate. When we procrastinate, we're the slowdown. You know, we slow down space and time. It's always going to be us. And if we want to put it on someone else, we always have to kind of turn around and point the finger back at us, because we're the ones that have the capability to do that. We are the ones that are responsible. We are the ones that are responsible for ourselves and what is taking place in our life. Where do we feel like we're being victimized? Where are we allowing that? Where are we allowing that I can't even say that word. Victimization? I don't think that is a word. I don't know. I don't think it is. Where are we allowing that to take place? You know, where are we going small? Where do we fracture off? Who do we go small around? Where do you feel your eye closing? You know, when you're talking about certain topics, you know, where do you feel that eye kind of start to shut down a little bit? Where do you feel that at? Those are places we have to go. So, all right. I'm not going to keep this long today. I've got to get on my Twitch stream, and I don't want to miss that. So I'm going to keep this one short, which is not like me, but I'm going to keep it short today. So practice opening up that eye. You can tap on it. I used to have a teacher that would tap on it. You can. I remember I used to play this game with people, even like grown people in bars. We'd be like, we have a unicorn horn, and we'd pull out our unicorn horns, and there'd be people in the bar doing unicorn horn duels with each other. And it seemed kind of, you know, funny or ridiculous at the time, and everyone's like, oh, we look ridiculous, but everyone wants to come around and see what's going on. I had so many people who wanted to come up to me when people were messing with their unicorn horns or we're playing with energy, and everyone wants to be in on that because it's fun. It's like, what are y'all doing over here? Are you playing with energy? Let's do that. Like, let's stretch the energy out. These are just fun things we can start to do. And if you close your eyes and just start playing with the energy, feeling the energy between your hands, feeling what other people feel like. You know, we used to do this exercise where you go hand to hand with someone and you can feel how long can you feel their field, and do it with your eyes closed. When do you not feel them anymore? How do they feel? I run very cold. I've always ran very cold. Some people will say higher consciousness energy runs cold. It runs cold for me. I always feel it as cold. Some people say it runs hot. I personally run very cold. Anyone who feels me, I am very cold. I'm all the time very cold. But just feel when people feel different. You know, when can you not feel them anymore? How far is their field reaching out? How far is your field reaching out? These are just fun things to do to kind of get in touch with that field, because that's what we want to do. Okay.